Hey guys, it's been a minute since I've uploaded to the channel, but I have an exciting one to bring to you today, a review of Death Stranding 2. We originally reviewed the first one here on the channel, maybe even a year ago, but I'm excited to bring this review to you guys. Got a lot of new content coming up to the channel, so can't wait to bring that. And before we get into the review, just want to say there will be no story spoilers at all, but there will be footage that is further down the game. So if you're trying to avoid any gameplay spoilers, any locations, things like that, please stop here. But you're good to go. Hope you enjoy the review of Death Stranding 2. Like I said earlier, we did review the first one on the channel, and if you haven't seen that, well, spoilers ahead, because it's the worst reviewed game I've had on this channel. And mainly what I said on there, it's just not a game for everyone. It's not a game that I can recommend to most of my friends. It's just different. They're not gonna like it. And with that being said though, the second one improves on the first game on almost every aspect I can think of. From the jump, you get access to different gadgets and ways to navigate the environment much sooner than you did in the first game. In the original, it took so long to get new ways to travel and diversify the combat, in my opinion. The sequel is not afraid at all to give you an assortment of items to add to your loadout. Honestly, it's a bit overwhelming how many gadgets and different ways to play the game allows you. Of course, the focus of the game is still delivering packages. A lot of packages. You have an endless amount of tasks where you carry specific items and pick up as much as you want along the way to your objective. Yes, the game is technically a walking simulator, as you are on foot for most of the game, using simple ladders and rappels to maneuver through tougher areas. A lot of the mini set pieces of you walking up an epic mountain or seeing an amazing vista is based around you mostly walking. I feel like I somehow always ruin these epic moments with this music and these amazing views by carrying an embarrassingly amount of gear, tripping over, or using a vehicle where I definitely shouldn't be using it. I would literally take it as a challenge if I felt the game was telling me not to be in a vehicle at this moment. I was determined to get it over these crazy mountains, rivers, and moments that just felt super inappropriate. It was a personal challenge of mine. But yes, in this game, vehicles feel a lot more capable than they did in the first game. There's a lot more upgrades that I saw for these vehicles, like your bike and the bigger truck that you get. While the vehicles are very convenient in terms of speed and the carry load, the most fun comes from other unique ways to travel. The game carries over one of the staples of the original, which is being able to create structures such as bridges, roads, and ramps that launches you hundreds of feet in the air, which is awesome. But then there's what I consider easily my favorite, which is the zip lines. I literally spent hours just planning and building a network of these so I never had to touch the ground again. There are limitations to how much you can build, but as you progress through the game, you get more bandwidth in what they call the chiral network, which is the concept in the game where you're able to build things but also see the other structures that other players have created. This is one of the better ideas in Death Stranding. It's very unique, and sometimes you'll be in this perilous journey going up this mountain or this crazy environment. You're having a tough time and things are just going oh so wrong. All of a sudden there will be the perfect ladder or connecting zip line that will aid you in your journey to help you out and give you hope to keep pushing through. Along with the core gameplay of traveling around delivering packages, you also have combat and the ability to sneak around. I personally play this game a lot more like I would Metal Gear Solid, quietly taking enemies out one by one, but occasionally I would go balls to the walls Rambo style. The gameplay in this game is a lot snappier than the original, and again, there's a lot more diversity in the ways you can play with the weapons that you can use. Guns are constantly being upgraded and introduced, along with different ways to deal with enemies with non-lethal gadgets. Combat is much better this time around, but it's still not amazing in my opinion. The cover system especially is terrible. I don't know why They just didn't have a button for you to stick to any wall you want. You'd have to aim a gun and it would introduce that button. So it's just weird because I know in other Kojima games they've had that ability. So I'm not sure why they went in a different direction, and in my opinion, a worse direction. Look, it's no surprise that the gameplay in the first game was more frustrating to me than anything. I didn't think it was much fun, but I definitely had a much better time in the second one. I felt more engaged in the planning of it, felt like an ever-changing puzzle where you can choose the pieces. I loved planning my route and having to figure out solutions for the unexpected flood or areas where your vehicle couldn't traverse anymore. As I mentioned previously, the flow of the game is so much better because it is constantly adding new ways to travel and play. The addition of much more diverse biomes also helps greatly, and the new environmental hazards such as fires and sandstorms are also very welcome. So, is the gameplay in Death Stranding 2 fun? Well, this time around, I would have to say a resounding yes. I still stand that the gameplay is not for everyone. There needs to be a different mindset to this game that is different than what most video games require. This game is about overcoming challenges, digging deep, finding solutions, and enjoying the journey. But if you start appreciating this game and it works for you, oh, you are going to have an epic time. With no exaggeration, Death Stranding 2 might be the most beautiful game I've ever seen. Seriously, the Decima engine is truly capable of some amazing visuals. Character models are likely the best I've ever seen. They are honestly just photorealistic, kind of eerie, and the game is well aware of how good it looks too. There is countless cutscenes in true Kojima fashion. It's not afraid to get close and personal and remind you of how incredible this game looks. The landscapes and areas you traverse are absolutely breathtaking, to the point where I would choose to walk instead of drive, just so I can really take it all in. I had so many mini moments like that where I'd watch a sunset or the stars or the mountain ranges where I just could not keep my eyes away from all the beautiful things in this game. Honestly, yeah, Death Stranding 2 is the best looking game I've ever seen. The way music is used in this game is very similar to the original. There are countless tracks that play while you traverse some truly epic slopes or treacherous cliffs. Probably my favorite track was To the Wilder by Woodkid. The sound design for all the little gadgets and interactions is spot on as well. Of course, we also have to acknowledge some of the top-notch actors in this sequel, including standouts to me like Elle Fanning and Troy Baker, who absolutely steal the show. If you know anything about Death Stranding, then you know that it is incredibly unique and weird. A post-apocalyptic world where people don't go outside and dead bodies blow up. Yes, that is all still here. I would say that the sequel is way weirder than the original, and the story has a very similar structure in terms of how it pushes the gameplay of traveling a continent and connecting different locations through what they call the chiral network. Now, this game is infinitely more interesting in its story, mainly because of its newest addition, Lou. Well, kind of new. The baby that Sam carried as a BB is now his child, and one of the core elements of this story. This story was much more heartfelt, and my intrigue was stronger from start to finish. In true Kojima style, you will have some very on-the-nose themes and character names, like Rainey or Hartman to name a few, but the story is much stronger and interesting in the sequel. Also, what a crazy final act for this game. Absolutely epic and insane. Okay, now that I completed Death Stranding 2, and knowing that I wasn't a big fan of the original, what's my final verdict? Well, in every single way, I feel Death Stranding 2 is better than the original. It's a lot more fun to play. The story is more engaging. It just looks absolutely incredible. And honestly, it's one of the better games I've played this year. Now, it's still a game that I don't think I can recommend to a lot of people. But that's not the only thing we should care about here, right? It's a game that pushes boundaries. It's a very unique experience that I think if you allow it to take over, will be one of the best things you ever play. It is so epic. It is so beautiful. And it's almost like that Christopher Nolan thing where it's like, stop trying to understand it and just feel it, just experience what this game is. And I promise you, if you're willing to dive in, the game will reward you and you will have an amazing time. Death Stranding 2 is meant to be an experience, and I believe this time around, Kojima Productions hit its mark. So with that being said, I give Death Stranding a 9.5 out of 10. So that brings us to the end of the review. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, we'll be uploading a lot more content to the channel. So please leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment below and let me know what you think of Death Stranding 2. And again, I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day.